Good morning, West Pacific Market Analytics here, and I'm popping in just to get a quick morning coffee out before I head out the door. Really want to get this out to you because this is so important. Now, if you haven't been following me over on Twitter, I've been posting some models over there, and that is a great place to be able to check some data daily as well, besides these videos. But these videos are great because I can better explain the data. Now, let's not waste a lot of time. I've got my coffee brewing here in the office. Let me just grab it. And while I do that, we're going to go. We are here at a top. Get ready. This stuff is all going to unwind really fast. This includes the AI bubble. The AI bubble is going to pop. So if you're holding any AI stocks, NVIDIA, Palantir, which I did put on Twitter, and maybe we'll pop those into this video real quick, get the heck out of Dodge. Get these things sold. Don't try to play them. Get out. That's all I've got to say. So let's go into the disclaimer. I grab my coffee and let's just take a look at a few things. I don't want this to run too long. Fast, in and out, and we're done. Please read it. These charts are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Hope you're going to have a great day today. I've got so much to share with you in the weeks ahead. Absolutely so much to share. I'm at a point now in time, and I talk a lot about time in my models, and it's all coming together in my mind about this idea of time. Time not only in the models, but time in life, in time in everything. And what a journey it's been. And I should almost do a video around that to talk to you about that because it's incredible. But let's get into it. I got my coffee. Let's go over here to the Discord member page where we're sharing the Tuesday morning here, a few thoughts. I'm going to share them with you. I did put up all the commodity models over here on the commodity site that was in that video. And those are going to be updated as I see changes in them and things top out. So we got all those set up here and those are ready to go. We got our QQQ stuff updated. So we've got all our QQQ videos over here. I need to update the semiconductors. I'm going to do that. I've got all the 10 stocks. We've been keeping that update over here. The 10 stocks, of course, is your NVIDIA, your Apple, your Microsoft. And we're getting to a lot of other things here. So I've got all those updated. And then the sectors, over here in the sectors, we've got all our AI models here. I didn't share too many of this. I got CoreWeave here, but you can look at these. I've got price targets. I've got CrowdStrike. I pretty much got them all. We've got Qualcomm, we got IBM, we got Oracle, we got Cisco, we've got Palantir. We've got all of them right here. So I'm going to be keeping that current as well for all the members on the Discord site. Again, if you're interested in that's at the start of the video, destinytrading@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me there to come on in to take a look at our site. So let's just get out of that. Let's go over here. I was in the member site here, group chat. We're over here. Let's just take a look at what I'm sharing here this morning. This is the QQQs. I want you to see here, you notice how now the liquidity, or not the liquidity, the velocity of the liquidity. Now what's important when you're modeling liquidity, you can't be modeling. When you're modeling capital flows, it's kind of the same concept or exactly the same concept when you talk about the dollar. You can print money, but can you get velocity of that money into the economy? In other words, will people spend it? So, I mean, but you know, what's happening is you get to a point where people just hoard it. They stick it in gold, they stick it in vaults, and all the money all of a sudden becomes locked up and they stop spending because their houses start dropping in value. They got bills to pay, their housing taxes are so high. They just don't have the capital. So what happens is the market becomes illiquid. You know, there's all this money out there, but there's no velocity to that money. Nobody's spending it. And that's the same concept when we're looking at stocks, whether people are buying or selling. We don't necessarily want to look at what the capital flows, but in our modeling, we do look at actual capital flows, and I'll show you that in a moment. But we also want to look at the velocity of those capital flows. So you can see back here in 2020 on the QQQ, the velocity of those capital flows topped out. Trend broke, and then we fell into it. Now, it's taken me, you know, I've spent 15 years creating all these models, and in 2020 I got a call, and I'll talk about that. I don't want to get into that in video, and that's something I want to talk to you about. It's taken me 5 years to finally understand it all. And I say, how could it have taken that long? It just does. This stuff is very, very complex because the backtesting process when you create anything, and that includes in when you do sciences here on the earth, you know, backtesting ideas, whether it be fusion energy or whatever, you just don't, wow, hey, look, this is a great idea. We created fusion energy. No, and then you got all that backtesting to do to get it to work right. You've got times it's going to blow up, it's going to fail. You go back to the drawing board. And it's the same way because it all works the same way when you're looking at physics. So anyhow, you can see now that we're getting the velocity breaking away. You notice it flatlined here all in 2024, but the trend continued to build. So as the trend built, the market rose up. Now look what's happening here. The trend's breaking and the velocity's deep. So once this trend fades away, price will go from here all the way down. Actually, I don't have my pointer up, do I? I'm getting a bit rambly here for a morning coffee, so pardon, and I need to get out the door here in 10 minutes, so let's get this done. I'm not going to be long. Let's get the mouse pointer up. Hang in there. It's just been one of those mornings. It's been a crazy couple of days. I hardly slept last night. I've been so busy on everything. So you can see right here, you see how the trend's breaking away and the velocity? So it's going to collapse. It's getting close. We're going to have a big move down. Now you can see the same idea here. You notice back here in 2018, 2019, we had a lot of velocity up here. But what happens is, and this took me long to understand, when price is deep in velocity, the trend can break, but price has got to rise again because the velocity is above price. So you can see we had velocity coming out, we had trend coming out. Here's that 2018 correction. Here's 2020. Notice that we came up, we came above, and we fell into what? The velocity. But notice the velocity and the trend never broke. You see that? They never broke. And so obviously what happened is once, of course, the Fed would say we're going to save the economy, they overgoosed it. Because how do you know they overgoosed it? Well, look what happened here. The velocity took up, the trend took off, and what did the market do? And then notice velocity came out, trend came out, and what did the market do? Now it doesn't have to come all the way down here because this is part of the back testing. What I found happens is once the trend reverses, even if it's not where the price is at, because it actually doesn't matter where price is at, it's all about what the trends are doing. And so you can see right here the trend reversed and the market reversed. Even though it was floating in the void here, and I'll show you in a moment why it can also float in the void. So you can see with the trend reversing, it all rose up, it broke for that first move, and now we're right here. But notice velocity this time. We don't have the same kind of velocity we had. We have the same amount of velocity we had back here in 2018, but price was here. Same amount of velocity here in 2025, but price is here. So when this trend breaks away, that price is the market here. Yes. Here, the lows of 2022. And so if we look at the QQQ, now here's the actual capital flows model. So now we're going out of the velocity model because that's very key. And then we need to look at a different type of model that I call the gatekeeper. Now the gatekeeper is more where it's actually monitoring the actual capital flows, but we're still using the same kind of indicators here with the directional circulation, which you can see it topped out right here. And we're also using more of a signal model. Now the signal we put in, I like to use it more in the gatekeeper model, and there it is. You see we finally got the turn in the signal up top here. So this is now saying that the market top is in. So now we're going down on the QQQs to test 423. Now you notice last time when we had this break, the trend came all the way down here. But notice how the gate's been open since around March of 2023. So you see what happens is when the gate opens, price can then rise above our gate. Our gate is this blue line in the model, and that's why I call it the gatekeeper, because this is the gate and this is the trend that controls the gate. So we have a controller and we have an actual gate. And the gate controls price, but also, as well, the velocity channel is a component of that as well. So you can see, for instance, back here, notice how we're rising up in the velocity channel. We got a bear cross. Here we were priced too low. And that took me a lot of time to understand. Okay, we're priced below the V channel. Does that mean price has to rise? Well, what did price do? It rose up into the V channel. Now it broke out above, but notice what's happened now. It's broken out above the V channel. Big corrective moves. Boom, big corrective move, big corrective move, and now a third big corrective move. Now we're looking at 423, but notice here this 280 number. Now 280 is what takes us to the capital flows level. So you see here, capital flows are at 280, and that's what it likes to price to. You notice right here, it's pricing to the flows. But to get to 280, the gate is going to have to do what? It can't get below 423 as long as the gate is open. Once that gate closed, you see how the trend goes negative here? And you see when the trend goes negative, we can break below the gate. So we're going to have to see the gate open before we can see lower than 423. Now let's pop over here onto my Twitter channel because I think this is important. And I want to talk more about Bitcoin because Bitcoin's pretty solid actually. Even though we're seeing this big sell-off here, you see here's capital flows. You see all this red and how it's selling off, okay? Now that's not a huge issue. We've got 79.97. We're going to test that on Bitcoin. And we're going to want to see what it wants. And again, same idea. You notice the gate opened right here, price broke above. But I don't see, Bitcoin has got a really strong big picture structure. We're not going to see a major sell-off. We might get down to 44 on Bitcoin in this move, but I'm not seeing much lower than that. It's still a pretty big move because after the 96 top, of course, that would be a 50% correction. But it's not going to collapse. We're not going back down to $6 and that kind of thing like we had in the past. And I'll show you that more. I'm thinking, let's deal with that 80 first, and then we'll take a look at it. But we can see all these stocks like Palantir, they're topped out. This is ridiculous how high this thing has gotten and the valuations of all that. And it's done. You can see on Palantir, same idea. We got the signal turn up top here. I don't want to get too much into these right now, but I posted all these over on Twitter. So at some point, once you understand the way my modeling works, then you'll be able to take a look at one of my models that I post and instantly understand what Glenn is talking about. Now remember, this is all physics-based. It's all based on math. I do not create these models. The computer does based upon the data inputs I've given it. And it's taken me 15 years to get here. It was a long road, but it now is to the point that I can absolutely say with 100% confidence, it's reached perfection. I mean, it literally is just where I want it. So you can see here on the video, right? We got the momentum top. Here's the bear cross. Here's the top in momentum because that's called the directional of circulation. And again, the computer draws that. This is the curve of the directional of circulation. It's topped out. Here's the bear cross. So now this is where NVIDIA needs to price. So in other words, you notice when NVIDIA was down here back in that April low, it needed to rise. And even back here, I wasn't fully, I've only come to the point in the last maybe month or two with this last rally of saying, boom, there it is. And in the last month, I finally see it all. Funny how things work in life. We really don't control the timing of anything. Nothing. We don't control our time. Not at all. So you can see right here, we have the signal top in NVIDIA. It's done. If you own NVIDIA, sell it. We're going to go down and test 140, and then we're going to want to see again, that's our gate, and then we're going to want to see what the trend does. Now, if we break open the gate, we're probably going lower, okay? But we're going to see, we're probably going to bounce there, but I guarantee you NVIDIA is going to break that gate because where's the V channel? That's just the top of the momentum curve or the DOC. I call it DOC because DOC is short for directional circulation of the momentum of the velocity. And the lower price is the Mach down here. Now the Mach is the momentum of circulation of the directional's velocity. So it acts as a channel, but you notice it moves a lot quicker than the directional does. But they're a pair, one called the Mach, momentum of circulation, the other called the DOC, the directional of the circulation. And it's a momentum indicator too, but had to give them a name, and the two fit, and I really like it from a technical term. They should become a new technical indicator that's been created here. So we're going 140, then we're going to break lower. NVIDIA is going to drop into the channel. You see the channels down here, and it's going there. So that's it. I didn't want this to be too long. We got a lot more we want to talk about. Thanks for listening to this video. Get yourself prepared, buckle down, start putting on some shorts, layering on some shorts. You're guaranteed to make money. Going to be nice profits made here. We're 100% a trading channel now. It's going to be nothing but trades. We're still going to look at some of the bigger picture technical stuff because we got to do that, but not so much the mad science. We're here to make money. It's going to be the go-to site for you to make money because my whole objective right now into the hard times that are ahead and the expenses that are ahead, especially to help the youth make money, to be able to take their capital, to grow their capital, to live a better life. That is my full focus right now, and we are going to make it happen. And I so appreciate you tuning in. Stick with me, get the word out, join the channel, see me on Twitter, come on board YouTube, and I just want to wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart here today and for the remainder of the week. I'll be back at you with a few more videos as we close out the week. Glenn out.